Yeah. So hi team, recording has been started. So in this part of the session, what we do is we will see how we basically call APIs in our Angular project. Okay. So for that, first of all, we need APIs, which we don't have as of now. Correct? We have not created it. So that is what we need to create in the later sessions. But we can at least see with some ready-made APIs that how we can integrate those APIs into our Angular project. Correct? So instead of creating our own API, we can, as of now, for today's session, just to learn how we can integrate the APIs in Angular, we can use APIs which is provided by some vendor. Okay, free APIs you can say. So or fake APIs you can say. So there's a site called JSON placeholder. Yeah. So you can see this side is basically this providing, right? You can see it is providing the fake online REST APIs. So the full form of API is application programming interface. REST is basically a concept. Okay. So again, for REST, I will explain what is REST API and why we make REST API, why APIs are in REST with REST technique or REST platform. That I will take when I actually start our own API. When we actually start our own API, when we see how to create APIs, that is where first topic would be what is REST and why we talk about REST API, right? So all these things will cover over there. But as of now, for today's agenda is to see how we can integrate the API which is already built, the REST API, into our Angular project, right? So these APIs can be built in .NET, can be built in Java, can be built in your PHP, can be in any platform. Only thing is they are REST APIs. Okay. In short, you understand REST APIs means what you can access, the APIs which you can access over HTTPS protocol or HTTP protocol, right? HTTPS over net you can basically make use of these APIs. So again, I said in detail we'll talk about when we actually create our own API. So let's see this site, JSON placeholder, correct? This gives basically the list of fake APIs. So you can test it. Let me just, yeah, this one. So we have one API called post, right? Post. You can see post. Yeah. So how basically REST API responds, or how API basically responds back, is in the form of JSON data. So if you hit any API, any get API, okay, if you hit any get API, it will give you data in the form of JSON. That is what 99.9% happens in today's world. Okay, today's world of API. So that XML days has gone now. Okay, previously we used to receive or exchange the data in XML format, but now it's JSON format. JSON format means JavaScript object notation. So if you can see, it's all object structure. See how many objects we have in this post. If I start minimizing it, I mean, it's too many. Sorry. If you see at the end, so total number of IDs are 100. So total 100 objects we have. Okay. So this API is returning 100 objects. So what it is actually, it's a get call. Again, I don't want to go in that direction that how many type of HTTP method we have. So I just explain you, in a very simpler term, as of now, two only. Okay, in very simpler term. One is the get method. Get method says, give me, I will hit the API, give me the result. That is get. Okay. So if you want to fetch the records from the database, so you need to have a get call. If you need to fetch the data from the database, so you need to write a get API method. Get API method work is to hit the DB, get the data. And that is how the get API method is going to give you the data back, because you said get. You invoke get method. Get method will hit the DB, get the data from the DB, and give response back to you. Get API method. Is it clear? One kind of method in the API is get method, HTTP get. Is that correct? Its job is to hit the API, get the data from the DB and give it to you. Guys, you're clear about it or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
There is one more method called post. So we call HTTP post method. So one method is called post, HTTP post method. So not this post, don't get confused. Let me take something else, otherwise 100% you will get confused. Comments. So how many comments we have? We have 5 comments, good. So let's say album. Do we have album also? Album, yeah, we have album also. Yeah, so album has title and something. I want to take a better API. User will be too big. Photos like 5,000 records. It's too many. So album has almost no data. Comments. I want to use where we have some images. Post will not have image. Comments will not. Let's see album. No, album will also not have image. Photos. Yeah, let's see this one. Photo. How much data we have for photo? 5,000 photos. My God. Yeah. So yes, we have images in this. Let's see one of it. Okay. So let's use this one. This will give us the real-time testing also. Okay. So we are taking photos basically, right, team? Photos API. So I was at post call. So let's say we have HTTP post method, right? We have HTTP post method. So what HTTP post method will do is HTTP post method will basically post your object to to the DB. I mean by calling HTTP post method, we are posting our object to the method. We are posting our object to a method, HTTP method. So now what will happen is, let's say we create an object, album ID, title, URL, and thumbnail URL, right? This is our what do you call it, object. Now by calling HTTP post method, I am posting my object to that method. Now what that method in return will do is, that method will take your object and save it in the DB, correct, or pass it to DB, and finally your object will get saved over there. And then HTTP post method will return you some response saying that a record has been inserted, correct, or maybe error message, sorry, record cannot be inserted, right, something like that. So post method will take your object and post it to your database, correct, and give you a response either in the form of success or failure. As you understood this point, is it clear to you or not?
So please one more time.
Okay, so this is first of all not post method. So this is a get method, because when you hit the get method in the URL, get method give you all the data. But we cannot do the same thing with post. Post method, right? We need to basically, let me just show you post method also. For post method, we need to post an object. So it will save the data in the DB. Post method will take the object from you. Let's say object like this, right? Post it in DB, save it in DB, and give you the response that the data, the record has been inserted, or if there is some error, it will send you the result that data cannot be inserted. So post is for inserting the data in the DB. Now finally, I don't want to call this one in the start. because then you see in a different direction. That's why I'm putting these statement in the last. So when you wanted to save your data in the database, then you need to call a post method. When you wanted to call the records, when you wanted to fetch the records from the database, you will be using get method. Is that clear to you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Let's see some real quick way to test it. Okay. There is a tool called Postman. You all should have this tool. Okay. If you don't have, obviously you will not be having. Download it. Okay. Quickly at your system, Postman, because this you will be using it every now and then while doing this project. Okay. While working in this project. Yeah, it's spinning up. So no problem till the time this spins up. Okay, it got open. 1 minute. Yeah, beautiful. So very good tool. I mean, you can test almost any kind of API with this. So there are so many tabs which I've tested already. So what I'll do is I'll click on this plus sign, plus. So which means a fresh API. What you wanted to test? So I say I want to test this API. See it carefully, huh? How you can test any kind of API, correct? Through Postman. So as I said, what kind of method we wanted to hit? Get. So let's hit this API. And this API method, this is API URL. This is API URL, or we call it endpoints also, right? This is API URL. We call it endpoints also. So on this API, we are invoking its HTTP GET method. Okay. So just send, and it is requesting, and you will, yeah, you can see all the records. So it has fetched 1.2 MB data for you. You can see status is okay. Status okay means, status 200 means successful. Okay. Status 500 means you have error. I mean, there's an error from server side. Status 400 means 400x. 400x means 401, 402, 403, 4, 5, 6, like this till 9, which means something happened at your end. Either you misspelled the service name, or let's say the service is not available, right? Or you pass the bad request, bad object, your object structure is not correct. So then you get 400 type error. If let's say you're successfully able to interact with the service, correct? Like in this case only, we successfully able to interact with the service, but let's say service is throwing some exception, some error, then you will get status 500, and service will throw you a relevant error, that due to this and this reason cannot process your request, something like that. That also depend who has written the API. A person, a developer who has written the API, what error message the developer is throwing, that message you will get. Okay. Again, don't worry. When we create our own API, we'll go through with all these things. Okay. Don't worry. So we got this one. Now, one more get method is parameterized method, which means this get method is get all. Whatever you have, get all. I mean, empty the whole database. Give me everything. It is as good as say select star from employee. So it will search all the employee for you. What if I wanted to search select star? What if I want select star from employee, where employee ID is, let's say, 110, correct? So in that case, you need to pass parameter, and you want only one record which matches to that employee ID. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So which
Yes,
means
sir.
you need to create one more get method, which is parameterized get method. So if I say 5, which means fifth ID, just do remember this fifth record. So we don't have fifth record. ID1, ID2, ID3, ID5. Yeah, this one, fifth record. Okay. Sorry. So ID2, ID3, ID4, ID5. Yeah, this one. So I want basically this record. I want this record. So I pass this ID 5, correct? So how do I know? Obviously, as a new user, you will not be knowing this. So you should be knowing the API structure. Okay. So if you wanted to know the API structure, you can go through with this site. I mean the site. So here they have mentioned. See, one get method is all post. I mean slash post means all posts. And one get method is slash one means by ID, slash one, slash two, slash three, like this. I mean for all the APIs what they have done, we can use it. Correct? So if I say 5, so which means I am hitting one more get method, which will take a parameter from me and it will search the result based on that parameter. Okay. So I say send. So now you will see only one object. See that same ID, fifth record. If I say we are saying we have 5,000 records, right? If I say 5,000, ID number 5,000, let's see what happens. You can see we got 5,000th record. If I say 5,001, let's see what it gives in that case. Empty. Why? Now API, see this one, 404, not found. Not found. Correct? Record has not, I mean, API did not give you any record. Okay? Record not found, 404. Okay. Now quickly see the post method. Okay. So this kind of object we need to post. Right? Post. We are posting so that our API will save this object to the database. So I am basically choosing the post method, and of course your URL is this for post, correct? This is your endpoint, and you are basically hitting a post method. So in the post method, I am now, I will go to body. First of all, I will go to, body, because now I'm posting. So I am going to body because we post the body. Okay. We post the body in different format. So I go to body tag and then I say its type, what kind of data I am posting. I am posting raw. In raw, I say JSON. So I'm posting a JSON kind of data, right? I'm posting a JSON kind of data. So this is my object. Let's do one thing. Let me, open it in different tab. Otherwise you will get confused. So I'm creating a fresh tab. There I'm pasting, an endpoint. I'm saying I'm going to hit your post method. I'm going to body. In the body, I say I am passing a data, right? Click on raw. I am passing a data in JSON format. And what is my object? Let me copy. So I am passing this object. So let me just change it. So album ID, I say, let's say 101. 101. ID, I say next. 5,000 was the last one. I say 5,001. And then title, I can put anything. Right? And now I say send. So let's see what they do. If they accept my object successfully, if they get my object successfully, if they receive my object successfully, correct, and if they are able to process it, so they will give me status 200, means okay. If not, they will give me 500, not okay. Something went wrong. So you can see they gave 201, means 200 series means okay, right? And you can see what they've written in return. I mean, they're acknowledging me. This is the object you have posted. So successful, correct? You can see what is the status they're passing. 201 means okay. They have accepted. They have received my object. Guys, is that clear or not? Tell me quickly. Yes or no? Team? Hello? Others, is my voice audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All good? Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's integrate this code into our application, right? Just give me a minute. Okay. So now let's integrate this one in our application. So what we do is we go to our application, and what I am thinking is where we should put it. Probably the food tab, where we have created this. Where we have created this these styles, right? Where I should or which API first of all I should show, I should pick. So what API would be best suitable for our application? Tell me, guys. I open this one to you. Which APIs would you suggest for our application just for today? Just for today. We'll do it quickly. So user will be fine. User. We have less users, only 10, so it will fetch it faster. User, and user has good complex information, so that will be one good way for me to show you how you can print complex structure. Because see guys, when you will create your own MongoDB, in MongoDB you will save the data just like this. You can just see this. Just like this, exactly like this, you will be saving a data. You will not be having, just like in SQL Server, you will be having a separate address table. Am I right? One will be user detail. Second would be user address. So user detail will be in user detail table, and user's address will be in user address table. And then, while fetching, will join both the table and then get the data. But in MongoDB, it doesn't happen like that. When you save the user information in MongoDB, you save it in this manner. So in the same object, in the same object, you will be having user address object like this, company object like this, right? So if you see this, if you ask any SQL guy, okay, I'm diverting I'm deviating from the topic and going to the database part, but it's important for you to understand. If you ask any SQL guy, even your college teacher also, and say, ma'am, this is an object, we wanted to convert it into RDBMS or SQL structure table. So anyone who know SQL will say one table will be user table, one will be user address table, you can see, correct? One will be user company table. Getting a point? Getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Even you also agree? Because
Yes,
you
sir.
studied SQL?
Yes, sir.
But in MongoDB, it doesn't happen like this, okay? In MongoDB, it doesn't happen like this. So in MongoDB, what happens is we save the entire object in one shot. That is why it is faster. Instead of picking data from 3 table, you are pulling the whole object as it is, right? Okay, so we'll see, today, how we fetch this object and print it, okay? So what I will do is, I'll quickly, because this application, we should not, disturb. So what I will do is, I will not touch existing route. Rather than that, what I will do is, I will create one more, component. I say ngGC, say users, okay? Because we do need users. We will be having users component, correct? So I'm picking user, sorry, user. Yeah, so it got created, and where it got created, let's see, obviously under the app folder itself. Yeah, user, right? Uh, let's first of all hook it with routing. So here I will have one more path, correct? Very simple. I will have one more path, say user, correct? Users or user, what do you say? Correct, team? And have
Yes, sir.
user component. Done? Hooked?
Yes, sir.
Of course, it is not nested routing. If it is nested routing, then in user component we'll have two routes. One is, let's say, add new user. Second would be list of user. But when we put the nested routing in this project, we'll do something like that. Okay. So now in user component.html page itself, I will go ahead and add something like this. I say section. Under section, how I did for others. Yeah, section and then fluid and then row. Okay, I'll go with the same. So section and then fluid close, right? So here I wanted to use all the users. Okay, so as of now I just put div, and to div h2 tag, say list of users. Okay, list of users. Again, later we need to decorate this page as well. List of users, save it. Let's quickly check by doing ng npm start or ng serve, is this working or not? And by the time this is happening, what we do is let's start creating the service. Okay, so how you create a service is, let's add a service. Okay, let's add a service, but before adding a service, what we need to do is we need to create a folder. So what we do is basically, guys, we create common folder called provider, correct, or services, which will hold all the services. Okay, so in app folder itself you add one more folder, say provider, correct, or providers. So here you will have all the providers. Providers means your services which provide data to you or which take data from you, correct? Provider, correct? So now I will go to command prompt, and now I create a service with the command, just like we create component like ng g c followed by component name. Similarly, I first of all need to go to the provider folder. So I say cd src. Under src we have app folder. Under app we have provider folder. No, yeah, under app we have providers folder. So now I am inside the provider folder. Okay, and now inside provider folder I say ng g, correct? So I can put shortcut as s also, but don't do that. Try to have an habit of writing the actual name. Okay, because there are other things also with the same word. So c is fine, c is for the component only, but I am having a doubt with s. If you say ng g s, so s is delegated to some other delegated to some other some other component, I mean some other feature. Okay, so that's why I'm using the word itself, service. So ng g for generate, that you can use it as a shortcut. G is for generate only. Then service followed by service name. So my service name is, let's say, users or user, correct? Enter. So you can see service got created under the provider folder, right? Yeah, so you can see service got created under the provider folder. So again, same thing, your service is nothing but a class. Can you see that? Your service is nothing but only the class. Did you see that, guys? Yes or no? Your service is just a class,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
1 second. Okay. So it will be a injectable, means it will be provider, it will be injectable when you put injectable here. When you put injectable decorator here in, I mean, on top of your user service, then only your user service class will turn into your injectable, your your provider. Okay. So now what is the next thing? Next thing is, okay, so now service got created.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, एक और बार repeat करिए step. समझ में नहीं आया कुछ.
Which one? Okay, the same thing, right?
Injectable.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So I'm saying, if you remove this decorator, this injectable is nothing but a decorator. So if you remove this decorator, so as I said, your TS files, 99.9% your TS files are nothing but the class files. If you see, this is also a class. If you remove the decorator injectable, it's a class. So this class will become provider. This class will become injectable. Correct? Injectable, provider is one and the same thing. It will be injectable, it will be provider only when you add a decorator called injectable. Okay. Now this class is no longer a normal class. It is now a injectable. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what else? Okay. So let's start, let's start using it. So now the very first thing that we will do is we will go to our module file, correct, and add a module, because we are going to use HTTP module. So we need to basically import it. So import statement, say @Angular and Angular common / HTTP, right? So from here we will add HTTP client module, right? 1 second, someone just ping me. Yeah. So HTTP client module, right? This is first step. After creating service, this is first step. Add this module, import this module in your app module file. Correct? And put it in the module section. As you all know, any third-party user-defined Angular module which you use in your application, you have to put it in the import section, correct, of your app module. Got my point? Is that clear to all of you guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So step 2 also done. Now step 3 is come back to your service file, and here you import, right? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Guys, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
I switch off my video. I guess there's a net issue. Okay, right? So very first thing what you do is you say import, and you need to import, let's say HTTP client, or your map variables, your catch variables, right? Through which you can basically set up your HTTP call. So we don't use match or catch as of now. Okay, I will introduce as and when we actually need them. As of now, I keep it simple, and what I will do is I will import your HTTP client, correct? So I say import statement, and then I say @angular /common/HTTP, and from there I will call your HTTP client, yeah, this one, right? Now what you do is, this is step 3. Now step 4, okay, this is step 3. Step 4 is add your service. Now step 4 is dependency injection. Step 4. So what you need to do is, I already told you before when we actually pick the service. I guess you already seen the service part, but one more time, no worries. So if you wanted to use any service, any provider, so HTTP client is also a provider, a service. Okay, this HTTP client is nothing but a provider. It's an inbuilt provider, correct? So if you wanted to use any provider, so you need to do a dependency injection. Same thing with user service. User service is also a provider. Agree, guys? User service is also a provider. So when we use this user service in component, we will also do the same thing in the component. We will do a dependency injection. Okay. So HTTP client is a provider that we wanted to use in our provider. HTTP client is a Angular based provider, correct? It's a inbuilt provider which is under HTTP module. So we wanted to use that HTTP client provider into our provider. Our provider means user service. So same rule is same for all. So dependency injection has to happen. I say private underscore HTTP, just created a variable which is of HTTP client type. HTTP client type, yeah, client type, right? So step 4 done. Now step 5 is nothing but using it. That's it. So I create a method, say get users. Step 5. I created a method, simple method. I'll create get users, all the users, and then curly braces open close, and then what I can say is I say return underscore HTTP, correct? This dot HTTP, of course, dot what I wanted to use, which method I wanted to use. I mean, which HTTP method I wanted to use. Simple question, right?
Get.
Or post or put or patch or what? Of course, get. I want get. So in the get, you just pass the URL, what you put in the Postman. So that you tested in the Postman. Now you're testing it live. So let me just pick the URL from here. So that is the URL, or you can say endpoint. You will see, I mean, so many time on net, instead of API, they use API endpoint. They use word called API endpoint. API endpoint, API URL, they all one and the same thing, right? So finally, this is what we have done, correct? So now, since you hit this, so this is going to fetch the data for you, okay? But we have not used this user service as of now. It's still unattended, right? We have not used this service. So what we'll do to use this service, okay? What we will do to use this service. So what we'll do is we'll go to our component, as you all know, correct? User component. Yeah, here user component, and here step 6. I mean, because we need to use it. So I say import, and I say dot slash. So go to providers slash user service. See how simple it is. Now I imported this user service, correct? Because I wanted to use it. Now this user service is a provider, as you all know. So what we do with the provider? Dependency injection, correct? Just feed it in your mind. Providers, if you wanted to use provider, it has to be, you have to add it in the dependency injection process, which means nothing but when this component will load, instantiate, then your provider will also instantiate. Simple. Dependency injection means this only, right? So now if I, if I say private underscore user service, I just created a variable, and I say it is of user service type, right? Correct. So this is dependency injection. So what I'm saying here, when my user component will instantiate, initialize, construct an initialize of my user component, correct? That time you initialize, correct, your my user service also. That's it, nothing else. Okay. So now you create one method. Okay, simple method. Step 8, say fetch users, correct? Fetch users, or you can use the same method also, get users, correct? So here you will say this dot user service dot, you can see get method automatically came, get users. And now there is a concept called observable, correct? So under observable, not observable, sorry, publisher subscriber concept. So this publisher subscriber concept says if someone publish, correct, someone has to subscribe, just like your WhatsApp group. Okay, just like a WhatsApp group. The moment I type a message, you all get subscribed. You all are subscriber. You all subscribe to the message, correct? It goes to you immediately, and I'm a publisher. When you reply back, you are a publisher, and rest of the group member are subscriber. Guys, getting my point? Publisher, subscriber,
Yes, sir.
correct? So can you tell me who is my publisher and who is my subscriber? Team, who is my publisher, who is my subscriber? So I give you a hint. I have
Sir,
service.
API.
Wait.
API.
I have provider. I have component. Who is my publisher? Who is my subscriber?
So component is publisher.
Component is subscriber.
Yes sir. Component is subscribe. But
Think and answer. Anything from backbenchers? Backbenchers means people who are not speaking. Are backbenchers. Okay. So
So
your
component is a subscriber.
correct. Your component is a subscriber, and your basically service, your provider is basically a publisher. So your provider will fetch the data from the API and publish to you. And now your subscriber, which means your component, has to subscribe it. Okay. So dot subscribe. Dot subscribe. Subscribe has two methods. One is successful. Okay. Second is error. Whenever you write something like this, no, first of all write a skeleton. Don't start writing a coding. If you see me, I have written a skeleton first of all. Success case, error case. Then you start coding into it. So in the success case, you will get some response. So I simply say data. When you can put any name, you can put my name also. Correct? So first case, subscriber contain subscriber expect two methods. So first method is always going to be your successful case, comma. Second is for the error. So you can put anything again over here. I put ERR. You can put anything over here. So second case is always going to be, second function is always going to be your error case. Okay. So success case, error case. Got it? Just like try catch. Now since you get the data, let me just put a console and show it to you. We are running short of time actually. Console.log and then say data. Okay. I say data Console log. What is console log? Sorry, I didn't tell you. So console log is basically if you wanted to log something in the browser, in the console browser console, then you can put console.log. It will immediately trap it. We use it for debugging. We use it for many purpose. Correct. So if you wanted to see call stack, like where my function pointer is going. I mean, first step, second step, third step, fourth step. So you can put console log. You can actually do debugging also. Many of the architects or programmers says instead of console log, you can put debugger also. Again, it's your choice. You can put debugger also. You can put console log also. Correct. With console log, the benefit is you will get the data. You will get to see the data. Whatever data you are getting, whatever data it is coming, you can trap it. You can trace it. Correct.
So, but it is a part of cloud, as I know.
No. It's not a part of cloud.
Sir, I have used it
wait.
in somewhere.
That is other console. That is console. That is something else. No, that console or this console is different. This is
Okay,
browser
wait.
console. I show you. Wait. So if there is an error, you will get error, right? Error occurred, right? And if there is data, you get the data. But this function will still not get called because you have not called it. Have you called it anywhere? Have you called this method? Have you called
No.
this function method anywhere?
No, sir.
So you call it in the ng on init. So you say this dot. So that is how we call our APIs. Okay, that's how we set up our APIs. So we basically create a service. We create a provider. In provider, we hit the API. I mean, we set up our API calls. Then the service method, we call it in the component. Correct. And make sure at the right event we call those service method, means provider method. So I am basically using my provider method called get user. User service is my provider. I'm using its method called get user, which is basically hitting an API. I put it in this method inside my component class, right? I have created one method called fetch user. Why I created a method? Because I might be using this method again and again. So I created a method. Now this method, I finally called it inside my ng on it. You can very well write the entire logic. You can very well write the entire logic, right? In the in ng on it. You can do this also. No harm in that. But then this code is single hand code now. If you wanted to use the same code fetching the users at some other place, you need to rewrite it. Correct? Guys, these things is not new for you. You already done it. You already did it in C before. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Reusable methods. So it's just
Yes, sir.
reusable methods. So now, what is this ng on it? It is one of the lifecycle hook. It is one of the lifecycle hook of your component. Means it's a predefined component. After constructor, first constructor call, second your ng pre-init call, right? Before initialization, and then ng on init call. So it's a third lifecycle hook. First is constructor, second is ng pre-init, right? Then ng on init, and then further lifecycle hooks, used to come. So it is predefined ng on it. I have called my method over here. So now when this user component load, we made sure that this this fetch user function will call this get fetch user. This fetch user function will call the provider function of provider function, which is get user. This one, right? And then this will call the API. So if I show you, in a sequence, 1 minute. If I, want to draw a sequence diagram here, I know there's no much time left, but still, I mean, we can, steal some minutes. So first is this. Then you will call this method will call this get user, and then get user will call, correct? Then when get user will get call, it will call your API. Is that correct, guys? Did you understand? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Flow?
Sir.
Good. So now you tell me what is pending, what we don't have. What I say is it will not run.
Yes,
It's not
sir.
because it's not because of the code. Yeah, tell me.
We have to mention that user component in our index.html. Or
Come
app.
on, man. We are calling component dynamically. It will work. Why it will not work? We are in the module, correct? In the route table, we already call this route. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It will
Which
work.
means I'm anyways calling it dynamically. I don't need to put it in app component. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But do I have a route created for it? Do I have a route created for it? Route. That is not created. So you can basically basically go to top bar, and just like these routes has been created: food, education, health, society. You can create one more route. Yes or no?
Yes,
Say
sir.
users
Yes, sir.
and say user, right? So without this also it will work, because your route is there. You can simply in the URL also you can manually type it, because your route is created, because your route is there in the mapping table. So it will still work. If I don't use this one, it will still work. Let me show you that also. Let me in fact start from there itself. Let's see our yeah, so now it should get compiled. Done. Let's go back to the browser here, and let me show inspect element, because we have put a console log. So I click on console, right? So what I do is from here I say user or user. So you can see the component got loaded. Yes or no?
Yes,
Or
sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
So what is more important? More important is your route is present in the routing table or not. Correct? If it is there, manually also it will work. You see, I just type user and it works, because when I hit this, it will go to HTTP route module, and HTTP sorry, not HTTP, sorry, my mistake, route module. And route module basically will check the route table. In the route table, it will check, do I have this route name? Do I have this path? Basically, if yes, good, load the component. That's it. So you can see in the console, correct? All the data got loaded. If you click user dot, I go back again. You can see the console. If you click here user.ts, you will get to see where actually you put the console. See, it is showing the same place where I put the console. Guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are getting the data in console. Now let's quickly print it. Okay, that's the pending part. So now we go to user component here, and I need to basically store the data in some variable. So here I will create one. One second. It's little important. Just 1 second. Yeah. So now what you do is you create one variable, say users, right? Because you are getting the array, so name it properly. If you say user, which means you are expecting an object. If you're saying users, means you are expecting a list. Okay. So I don't know what kind of list it is. So I say any. It's an array of any type. I don't know the type of it. Correct. In the constructor, I guess these things I showed you before, right? In the second or third or fourth session.
Yes, sir.
You remember? Users equals to empty. correct? I initialize it with the empty value. And now here, after console, you can say this dot users equals to data, correct? So why it is giving you error? Okay, because this guy data is not of that type. Let me do something. Can I say data of any type? Will this work? Yes. I will get the data, and I will get data array of any type. Will this work? Should work, because what we are getting the array, right? So I say the data which I'm going to get, the response from API, what we are going to get, that is an array of some type. I don't know what type, but some type. So I use any, just to be safe. And so as my user also, this is also it's an array of some type. I don't know what type, so I put any. Okay, now it is there. Save it. In fact, instead of putting a console here, let's put a console of this dot user, just to make sure. Are you getting data? Are you getting data in the, in this dot users variable or no? So yes, you're getting it. See, this dot users. If you click on the point, it will point it in the code itself. Good. So we are getting the data. Now, only thing left is, guys, are you following me in this? I am not in a hurry to show you something. Okay, I'm going step by step, one by one. You also need to do the same way, step by step, one by one, because if you fail in this process anywhere, then you will go circle. I mean, then you will go around the topic and you will never come out of it. Okay. So initially I'm saying, not, I mean, once you are expert, then you do whatever you want. I mean, you will be expert in that area. But initially, right, in this time, maybe next 2, 3, 4 practice session, when you actually implement the service, you go in this step by step approach only. Okay, step by step, just like I did. Follow this recording. Okay, just like I did. First I put data, console it, then create a variable, put data to that variable, then put in the console. Go step by step. Now once you are 100% sure that I am getting the data, now you can print it. Okay, now you can print this user, and you can go to user component.html, and here this div is waiting for you, right? So I say hashtag ng4, you all know about it. I say let, why I didn't take the table and I took div, I'll let you know in some minutes. So let what, let user, just create a iterator, let user of users. Guys, don't get confused with this word user. It's just a variable. You can put my name also, you can put you also. Okay, you, I, remember I in your C++, C or C++ book, right, for the for loop. So it's an iterator. U is going to iterate each and every element or object, right, of your user array, correct? And when it will do this, you need to print it. But first of all, see a user object, what it contains, what is its structure. So its structure is, it has email, ID, name, phone number, username, website, and so on. I mean, so many things, correct? Internally it has, see, company detail, address object, company object. So you need to plan for this. Okay. So what I do is, just to check again, I'm not in a hurry, just to check is all good or not, I will take any one property, let's say username or name, correct, name or phone number, and I will print it over here. Say span name, and strong means it will be in bold, right? Curly braces open close. Say u dot name, correct? and then BR means line break, and the same thing I will repeat for phone number, just to check all good or not. PHONE, phone, and here also, if I'm not wrong, it's phone only. Yeah, PHONE, phone. Correct, team? Let's save and see the result. Beautiful. It is showing me, you can see, it is showing me all name, right, and phone numbers. Of course, the formatting is bad. I mean, in fact, it's worse, but you are getting the data. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Let's quickly, fix it. So remember, we have something called Bootstrap. Where's Get Bootstrap? Cards. Examples. No, not examples. Documentation. Yeah, in documentation, I wanted to see components. Inside components, you will find card. Yeah, this one, card. Since we don't have images, so I guess simple card is good enough. So I can take this one, right? Where it has everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, anyone wants to speak anything? We can even go with this approach or no? No, okay. We'll take simple one. This looks good. Okay. So I'll take this card. We'll take this card. Last 5 minutes and then we are done. I will take this card. Comment these lines. And we should not, use rows. I mean, we should not use this. I mean, okay, let me just show you and then it'll be better for you to understand. So card, but I should use the column class also, correct? So how many card do you want in your row? It should be 4 card, 5 card, 6 card. How many? I guess for LG, 6 card should be good enough. So I say after card, I can, although cut this and put it outside, it will add confusion only. Comment it. Okay. So let me put a class here itself, column class. I say call LG. If I put 2, then 6 card will come. Am I right? If I put 2, 6 card will come. Let's see. And I should put a loop here, correct? Step by step, no hurry. Loop. Now I should see 6 card in one row. Yeah, that's coming. See, correct? Or if you think 6 is more, you can say 3. Let's see, with 3 card, this looks pretty okay, right? Team, good or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. It is.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes.
And before even going in depth, one more thing, because this is also a kind of styling, correct? This also serves today's topic, which is styling, theming, which we do in start. You can see all these are very, like congested. And I mean, we are living in the age of COVID-19. So at least some meter distance should be there, right? Otherwise, these guys will get infected.
Yes, sir.
So what should I do? Okay. So what I can do is, I can do this card circus, this LG3 circus outside of it, which means, first of all, again, I do lot of mistake when I, try to change the existing code. So first of all, let me pull it out. Again, go clean, slate. Say class, this circus you do it over here, right? You put your logic here. I mean loop here. Now it will generate these many columns, and inside that you put this, because what will happen is this call LG padding will apply, and that will give you some space. Correct? Call LG column, LG padding, which is some 20 pixel or 15 pixel if I'm not wrong. That will apply, and you see some gap. Let's see. Hey, it has destroyed the whole structure. Okay, let's see where we. No. Let's see one more time what we did. We are saying create. We have put this column LG inside the card. That was a mistake, so remove it. Okay. Now we try. It should work now. Beautiful, right? It's working, correct, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you see like too much of gap, man. Too much of gap. Should not be this much gap. So now again, you can put some style. I would not suggest inline style. So I say, first of all, I create an ID over here. Say user section, right? User section. All these things are going to help you in your project. Okay. So please pay attention. So hash curly braces open close. Now curly braces open close, and then cards class. That's what I told you in last session when we started actually the CSS or style part. Correct? We are writing our component styling. Okay. Our component is user section. Inside that I have a class. Correct? Card. And to card class, I wanted to give, say, padding. I wanted to give my own padding. I say padding should not be padding. Remember padding? Top, clockwise. Top, right, bottom, left.
Left.
So 10 pixel, 10 pixel, 10 pixel, and 10 pixel. Let's see this much works or not. Click on it and we can check. So we need to apply basically. Okay. So we need to apply basically at here, not in the card, at LG3 level. So what I do is, you understood what I'm saying? Actually, I wanted to reduce or remove the padding from this column level, not card level, column level. So what I will do is here I will introduce a class, some class. I say card section or card tile, the best name, card tile, because this is what? This is one tile. So card tile. So here I say my class is card tile, and to card tile you apply 10 pixel padding. So it will, see, did you see the result, guys?
Yes, sir.
And now 10 is also too much. I would say 5, 5, 5, right? I say 5, 5, 5. Save it. Now it looks beautiful. What do you say? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yeah. Just 1 minute, guys. Yeah. Back. So now let's quickly, bind the data quickly. Last 2 minutes and then we're done. Card title. Instead of card title, what do you think we should have? Quickly, guys.
User data.
Username.
Username.
Okay. In subtitle, what you say should come?
Phone number.
Let's see in the console. Let's see in the console. So we have user here also. You can see title should be name. Okay. Subtitle can be what? Its website, its company website, or its email. What is it?
company name,
Company
company website.
name or company
Company
email? Okay, चलो ठीक है, company name. Agree, company name. So tell me, for company name, how I should print? In the main object, the name is at the main level, okay? But company name is inside the company. I've given you a hint also. Now you tell me, what should I write over here? U dot.
U dot company dot name.
Are you sure? Who agree with this guy? First of all, please speak your name.
So Mehboob.
Mehboob. Who agree with Mehboob? Tell me, team. Who agree with Mehboob? No one? Come on, you cannot leave your friend like this. Do you agree with Mehboob or not?
Sir, what he said?
He's saying u dot company dot name. Are you sure? First of all, who agree that he is right? I have a doubt. Name is at the main level. Name is at the name. The username. The user's name is at the main object level. But the company name is inside the company. So do you agree what he said is right? Okay, leave it. You don't, you guys don't support your own friend. So I agree that what Mehboob said is correct. I agree. Now who agree? Now do you agree? Team? Yes, no, anything? What
Sir,
happened?
don't know.
He's right, man. He's absolutely correct.
Sir, u dot company dot name.
Correct. That's what he said. U dot company dot name. That is what he said. Now u dot
Okay.
U dot company dot name.
dot name.
Because company website, username, phone, name, ID, email, address, they are at the same level. So just like you said, u dot name, u dot phone number, u dot username, u dot website. Similarly, if you want a name from the company, so see the parent object. So u dot company, and inside company you have name. See, Mehboob, this much they love you. They can't agree with you on just simple term. Come on, man. U dot company dot name, right? Okay. Quickly, what else in the text section? Do we have anything to write in the text section? Can we write address? Can we write address?
Yes, address, yeah,
Yes,
about
sir,
him or her.
So I say quickly, I'm running short of time and curly braces open close. Now you see how we can write all objects in one row. So I say u dot address dot city, correct? Dot city, comma. After city, what we have? Maybe street. I think street should come first. Street. Someone is having question. Pranshu is saying company dot name. Yes, Pranshu. Yes, agree. So sorry, Pranshu. While while going in the flow, I sometimes don't see the chat. So you can basically unmute yourself and you can speak. You can unmute yourself and you can speak. So street, and then we have suit means apartment. In fact, suit first and then street. Correct? So Pranshu, is it correct? Pranshu got offended, man. Yeah. Sorry, Pranshu. Sorry. I did not check your chat. Very sorry. So then we can have city, street, city, and then finally city, and then finally zip code. Okay. I mean, you can put entire address like this. What is the spelling of zip code? Yeah, okay, this one, zip code. Correct, address done. Now you tell me in the links what should we put in the link quickly. I would say website, one strong candidate, website,
Yes, sir. The website.
and phone number or email.
Email, yeah, website.
Just website, and maybe here we can say email, email, right? Email and website is at the parent level. So beautiful. See, what is it? Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, sir.
This is live API data, live, no hard coded, nothing. It's live data, right? These are all user cards, correct? By going to click, by clicking on this one, you're going to be at this guy's website, correct? So if you click, okay. Tell me, team, all good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do we have this website? If we have, we can bind that also. 1 second, let me just check. Is it a right email? I mean, right website? Yeah. So these are live websites. So good. One last change. You see href? You see href?
Yes, sir.
We can, we can put it in href. Website at least. Website, we can put it to href. So what will happen? When you click, you will go to the website.
A particular website.
Yeah, let's see. Let me check. I click on this one, click on this one, click on this one. We'll see first three. What? Okay, it is taking it as a route. Okay, this way we need to handle it dynamically. Dynamically means by creating a function. So okay, we are already running short of time. We'll see it later when we actually have a usage of it. We'll see it. But you understood, right? You got the concept, correct?
Sure.
User, and just to just to make sure this will, you will not otherwise you need to remember the route every time. So just to make sure you have it in the top bar, let's uncomment this one. So now you have this one as a part of your route. So yes, you click on users, food, education, health, society, and then your user. Done. Okay, all good?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Super. So now let's close the session. Correct? We have done good amount of work today. So now you guys know how to have APIs also. It will definitely help you to to work in your in this project as well as other project as well, right? So now what I did not tell you is how to post your object. You have something in your form and you're posting it. Okay, so that we'll see tomorrow. That we will see tomorrow, how to post our form data. You have a form, you need to put validation in that. Validation means email is required, phone number is required, email should be in right format, and what else, say username is required, right? Max number, min length, all these validations will apply, correct? And basically we'll see how to finally post that object to an API. So Pranshu is saying, sir, what is mockup suggestion issue for, please tell me data validation. Okay, mockup suggestion. So I did not understand, Pranshu, which mockup suggestion you're talking about. I am asking guys a logo from your side, logo. I mean, please find a logo, correct? Think of a logo which we can put over here, and this background image, okay? Background image. So tomorrow, in tomorrow's session, what we're going to do is we will have a form validation and form working, correct? Form validation and actually how form get integrated to an API. Again, same thing. You get the data from form, post it to your provider. Provider will hit an API. API will post it finally in the database. So I'll give you a live API of API which we have built, correct? Where you can push the data and you can see the result also. Okay. So we'll integrate with our live API, not the fake API, our live API, which is already built, of course. But at least in that, you will get to see you are adding it and you're getting the result. You're adding it, you're getting the result live. So that we'll see tomorrow. Apart from this, what else? I guess that's it. That's it. And we need to work on food, correct? So this has to get properly done. So this also will take in tomorrow's session and we'll arrange it. We'll arrange the proper food lobby, correct? With the carousel and with this data. So guys, as a task, what you can take is, I need different images for food, correct? So that we can save. So like small image, big image. So leave about the image sizes. That we'll see, it will automatically stretch and contract. Don't worry. It will contract and expand automatically. Don't worry about that. You just take the normal size images like 400 by 400, correct? But with different food images. So this also, I want that food lobby should be well arranged properly, correct? So we'll use those images as by default images. What if someone has created a food drive but forgot to take the picture, right? So what you're going to show for that food drive, let's say food drive 1, our first food drive has been done by someone and that guy forgot to take the picture while distributing the food. Now what will happen? Now what will you do? You should have some default image. That's what I'm saying. Have some default images. So we'll use some default images, correct? Have some 10 or 15 default images you pick, okay? 10 to 15 default images for food you pick, right? From different sources, not only from the free pick, wherever in the net, from the net you find meaningful images, please, save it. Okay, please collect it. One. Second thing, you need to search banners, homepage banner. Here also, I'm planning to put a carousel. Here also, I'm planning to put a carousel. So we need banner images also. So second task, okay? Second task. First task, all the meaningful images for food, 400 by 400, not the banner size. And for homepage, we need a banner images. 4 or 5, at least 4 or 5 banner images of each and every topic: food, education, health, society, right? 4 images. Or maybe first we are launching food, so maybe banner images for only food. Banner images for only food. Let's say one image should be like how much food we waste. Or image can be how much food the whole world waste. Second image can be, you know, a child starving from food. Meaningful images, banner images. So 2 tasks, you know, are on your plate. Got my point? And third one is logo. Pranshu, maybe you can work on logo part. I know that you are a designer. So can you just work on the logo part? Some meaningful logo. I mean, logo which we just see and say, yes, this is We Build Nation. Okay? But that should be the third priority. Can you guys do this first 2 priority? Can you do this task, which is as first 2 priority? Guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
can I give you 4 tasks also again for the images only? Give me top 10 images of people. Again, you take it from free pick only. Okay. So we wanted to place it over here, in the asset, in this section, right inside section. Correct? Right, team? So 4 tasks on you. Will you remember this?
Yes, sir.
After this session, can someone ping in the group? In the group. Like, what are these 4 tasks? Good. So Pranshu, are you taking the lead on logo? Great. So we do one thing. In tomorrow's session, we'll get a meaningful, I mean, we'll do a meaningful validation only, or meaningful, you know, form only we'll pick. Meaningful in the sense means we'll take a form of creating a food drive. What do you say, guys? Why we should take a sample one when we already working in a project? Why can't we take a project requirement only, right? So remember, what did I tell you? Like, we'll be having carousel, then lobby. There itself we'll be having form. There itself we'll be having a, you know, link called create drive, right? Right?
Yes,
Create
sir.
drive. So we'll create a drive tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Sure. So done, guys. That's it for today, right? I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you liked today's session. So
Yes,
recording
sir.
will be available after some time. Bye, team.